Hello and welcome to a new episode of Loxone Explained, the format for all technology enthusiasts, Loxone partners and those who would like to become one. For today's episode, we picked a question from the community that we'd like to answer. By the way, do you also have a question about the functions and products of Loxone and would you like an explained video? Just post the question as a comment under this video. We were asked how Loxone can ensure more security, especially for old people, their relatives or children. The topic of Ambient Assisted Living, AAL for short, the support of older or disabled people is very important to us. Today our topic is things like fall control, emergency button, automatic access for emergency services, detection of atypical behavior and much more. Let's start with the fall control. The fall control triggers an alarm chain as soon as there is a fall from which you cannot recover on your own. The principle behind it works like this. If a resident gets out of bed at night to go to the toilet, for example, the presence detector in the bedroom detects the movement and a follow-up time begins in which further movement must be detected before the alarm starts. If the person now walks down the hall towards the bathroom, the next presence is detected here and a new run-on time begins. If the person falls down and stops moving within the range of the presence detector in the bathroom, an alarm is triggered after the defined run-on time. Now let's look at how we implement this in Loxone config. Let's start with the alarm sequence. Up to 10 contacts can be alerted one after other or simultaneously via the caller service via the outputs TQ1 to TQ10. I use the block settings to define the different texts that are to be sent to the contacts and the emergency service. To deactivate the alarm, I use input C to determine which dial key on the phone of the respective contact must be pressed to deactivate it. In our example, dial key 1. You can find this input via the messages item in the peripherals and the associated one contact. Now we move on to the fall detection. I use the AAL Smart Alarm block to define which presence detectors should be used to detect falls. It is important here that the presence detector is assigned to the correct type of room. In the properties of the block, you can now individually define the respective run-on times depending on the room type. In a bedroom, for example, the follow-up time is several hours. Otherwise, an alarm would start while you were asleep. However, in a thoroughfare, such as a hallway, the follow-up time is very short since people do not usually stay here for long periods of time. By the way, the Loxone presence detector not only detects movement, but also volume. You can use the settings of the presence detector to define the volume threshold for volume alarms. If, for example, a loud scream is detected, the alarm also starts. Another way to draw attention to yourself in emergency situations is the button air or the wrist button air. Depending on your needs, the button can be positioned individually or the bracelet can always be worn on the wrist. If the button is pressed for a defined time, the alarm starts. In config, this is easily solved via the emergency alarm block. We insert the emergency alarm block and simply double-click to select the desired products. By the way, this can also be a Loxone Touch, for example. Now all you have to do is to connect it to the alarm sequence. And if you accidentally trigger the alarm, you can simply acknowledge it by pressing the device for a defined period of time. The integration of Loxone into Apple HomeKit opens up new possibilities for realizing an alarm or a call for help. A highly effective solution would be, for example, to trigger an alarm with a voice command. It doesn't matter whether a resident has fallen, lost orientation, can't get up from the bathtub, the child who is alone at home has a problem, or. In an emergency, all you have to do is give the voice command and the defined alarm chain is already triggered. A concrete example. An elderly resident is sitting in the bathtub and can't get out alone, but there is no one else in the house or apartment whom he can call. In the bathroom, however, there is an Apple HomePod that can receive voice commands. You can define the voice command to trigger the alarm yourself. For example, "Hey Siri, alarm chain on." But how is this now implemented in the Loxone config? I add the switch block and name it exactly after the word that starts the voice command via Siri, in our example, alarm chain. Only then it is guaranteed that the block will also be started. We now connect output Q on the switch to input A on the alarm chain, and the contacts are alarmed one after the other. If the voice command "Hey Siri, alarm chain on" follows, the switch is flipped and the alarm chain starts. Now the block only has to be added to HomeKit in the Loxone app, and the alarm can be triggered with the help of the voice assistant. In our reference project GIɁi in the Netherlands, you can see how all these AAL functions have been implemented in practice. That's from me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a subscribe to our channel and a thumbs up on this video. And if you're interested in becoming a Loxone partner, just check our website on the link below this video. Thanks and see you next time.